Thank you very much, everyone, for singing and encouraging one another. When we sing, we're singing worship to our Lord, but we're also singing to one another and encouraging one another in what we believe and in what we affirm through all these days. And on that note, I want to just also thank all these extraordinary musicians who have led us and accompanied us in their artistry. Guys, orchestra, choir, band, to Jordan and Matt, two of the writers who co-wrote those last two songs, Christ Our Hope in Life and Death and I Will Wait. They were involved in both those songs, and Jordan led us. And then, of course, Matt Merker, who's the associate producer of the Sing Conference, which means he actually makes it happen. And we're so grateful to him and to that whole team. And of course, Blair Lynn as well for that reading. My wife and I have had this conversation countless times in the last decade that our favorite person to listen reading the Bible is Blair Lynn. Why don't we thank her for her wonderful craft? And it's just amazing. It's just amazing how the Bible being read beautifully in our Sunday church services can transform our services and transform our week. Isn't that right? It's an amazing thing, and we're so grateful. Everyone, you are so welcome to Sing 2021. Whether you are here in the arena, whether you are on Sing Global, wherever that might be, and indeed around the world, we are grateful that we are all one in a bond that is greater, that is infinitely greater than any of the issues that have been tearing us apart in the last 18 months. We are so grateful that we get to come and sing together. This conference began in 2017 with a desire, I guess, following the example of my hero Martin Luther and the Reformation, of attacking congregational singing and our church services as being central to the health of the Christian believer and the Christian life. And we had the privilege of being able to share this with a group of theologians and Bible teachers, of a group of talented artists, and a group of hymn writers and songwriters and local church musicians. And over the years, it has been a joy to share it with many of you and to build many new friendships as we go along. 2018, we looked at the Psalms. 2019, we looked at the life of Christ, and in particular, how we sing well at Christmas and Easter and in the Great Commission. 2020, if you haven't been here, 2020, we looked at singing the scriptures, but it got a little bit weird, you might remember, last March. And so we had to go online and create Sing Global. But in the providence of the Lord, it has meant that most people who are watching and taking this in are watching it online. There is nothing like being together. And by the way, was that singing not fantastic? It really was wonderful. And I hope as many of you can come in future years, but it's been a wonderful opportunity to share this. As I said, many people are watching in Sing Global. That's the second thing that has come out of it. But in creating the Sing Global site, we've also began to do something we hope to do from the start, and that is create a way to connect with you 365 days a year. And that for us is a huge importance. And if there's ways we can help you, we want to know about that. But specifically this year, the theme of the Sing Conference is singing the great hymns of the faith. Singing the great hymns of the faith. And this year we're going to be giving you 30 hymns throughout the year and teaching you from the simplest formats to more complex ways, creating materials for you that you can learn these 30 hymns in your church. You don't have to follow us on it, but it is. A lot of people have said over the years they want to build the great hymns into the lives of their families and their congregations. And so we're creating this year, and we hope many of you will follow up on this year's conference by being able to do that. The conference began being called the Great Hymns of the Faith, or with some title, Singing Through History. And there was a concern, there was two or three concerns coming through. One of them was people were saying, we don't think we want to come to a conference and listen to a series of lectures in the history of hymns. I'm sure it would be very interesting, but that's really not where the Christian community is at right now. And we were equally concerned with a lot of the disunity and just lack of confidence that was growing in many circles. And so talking to, I think, nearly all the speakers and our advisory group, we decided to call the conference this year In Christ Alone. The hymn is 20 years old, and our publishers are doing some things with it this year, but not to celebrate the hymn as much as just to take some of the creedal ideas that run through that hymn. And so we're excited this year to be doing that as we go as well. The third thing that we're excited about this year, which came out of Sing Global last year, was having this new equipment that allows us to record and put the whole conference on a special site. Is we've been able to really move forward with the foundation. And really what happens in that is $5 of all of your registrations, and indeed all the global registrations, goes straight to the foundation, where we're working with a group of translators to get it translated into, this year, 12 languages around the world. So throughout the fall, we're going to be in it's a team led by James Ainscoe in London, where there's a team where we will be in Mandarin, in Korean, in Farsi, in Arabic, as well as some of the more well-known languages, Spanish and French as well, but making the conference available in those places as well. So it's exciting to partner with you in that way to help build deep believers in the world. We really do live in the most exciting generation in history to be believers. And so we're excited to share that. And the final thing is, this year is year 5, and people have been saying, you've started with a year 5 plan. Is this the end of it? And of course, it is not the end of it, but we're actually starting towards a plan in 2024, where we're hoping to launch the Sing hymnal. And so this year, while we look at the great hymns of the faith, next year we're looking at the great liturgies and prayers of the faith, and called Christ, our hope in life and death, where we begin with the importance of gathered worship and how our services shape our lives, and how our public prayer and our private prayer shape our lives, and the importance of understanding the foundations of life and death. And then 2023, we're looking at a more international, so we're looking at a conference based on Revelation with themes of international and eternal themes in that. And then 2024, the hymnal and the Psalter. So we're excited that this year is launching. We're the first of really 4 years where we move towards creating a hymnal of the great hymns of history that we hope can be a resource to all of you. Now, looking to this year's conference and thinking about how we go deeper, I think the thing that as a group, as we have created prayer letters, and as we've talked about what are the goals of this year and what are the choices that we make, because there's so many different ways you can go, I think what is governing us more and more is, how does the conference actually make a difference? If this conference is a good experience for you, and it's fun and it's nice to sing, because everyone likes to sing, or most people like to sing, and these are wonderful musicians, but it doesn't actually have a tangible difference to your life, to your family's life, to your church's weekly worship, then it really is respectfully a waste of your time and a waste of your energy. So our prayer is that will be the case this year. And as I said, we've split sort of the themes up this year in 3 days. The first day, we're taking some of the themes of the first verse of that hymn. We've got my friend Alistair Begg, who I'll introduce in a minute, launching us off with "In Christ Alone Our Hope Is Found," and H.B. Charles and this cornerstone, this solid ground, Christ in the midst of suffering. We've got a wonderful evening tonight where we're going to do a double album launch. Well, really a single album launch, but it's 2 new projects that have been written over the last year. We've got Matt Papa and Matt Boswell, who are going to be joining us with their new project at 7. And then Kristen and I and the band will be doing a project really inspired by looking at our Scotch-Irish heritage while we were home and some of the great hymns of that at 8 o'clock. And then tonight at 9:45, we have spent the last 3 months planning for the Handel's Messiah sing through. It's a 45-minute sing tonight at 9:45. Whatever you do, don't miss that. Joanne Lunn is a girl who I have known for many years. We grew up in Britain. She was the BBC Choir Girl of the Year, nominated by John Rutter, and has gone on to be the soloist in many of Sir John Rutter's albums. Suzuki, who we heard from last year, she's one of the finest Baroque sopranos in the world. But even more impressive than her singing, which is kind of hard to believe, is actually her love for the Lord, for her family, for her church, and she's just a complete laugh. She's just great. And so she's going to be the soloist tonight as we do the Messiah. Please don't miss that. It'll be like you've never heard it before, and then you get to sing along with the choruses, and then you can go and tell your friends that you sung with her, when you go home. Tuesday, we're thinking about the theme of restoration. The verses 2 and 3 of the hymn look at the life of Christ, and we're beginning with John Lennox, looking at fullness of God and helpless babe, Christianity, the true humanism. We've got Tripoli looking at Light of the World by Darkness Slain, how the cross helps us understand our identity, and finishing tomorrow night with David Platt on Up from the Grave He Rose Again, the theme of resurrection. And throughout the day, we've got wonderful artistry combined with songs from our writers. And then tomorrow, a special concert. I guess it's kind of like our family hymn sings that we've been doing, but with lots of special guests. And we look forward to sharing that with you. And then Wednesday we are taking, as is usually the case, the theme of eternity, the theme of we've got speakers from each of the who represent each of the continents, and of the main continents, and some wonderful challenge to witness and unity as we go out of here. So we're thrilled to get to share this whole event with each of you.